Greetings and welcome to another video, and in this video today I am doing episode 2 of Passion for Games, and with me again I've got SasaMisa1806, and this time we are talking about the game Potsworth Co, which was published by Hi-Tec Software and come out in 1992. Now this is a strange one for my channel because it's not the sort of game you'd think I'd normally do, but last time we done one of his early games that he bought, and this time we're doing pretty much his last game. So, hello.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, as Chris says, this was literally the last 64 game I ever played. I think it was in the second year of my apprenticeship. Played it around my brother's house because he had the 64 back by that time. And I liked the cartoon, and when I saw the game just in silica, I think it was, over SID Cup, picked it up and was actually quite impressed with it.
Yeah, I mean, I never really watched the cartoon. I was aware of it because, as you know, but obviously the listeners don't. I used to know an author that used to convert children's cartoons into books. She done the Turtles, and she also done some Potsworth Co books for the annual, or some stories for the annual. That was Maureen Spurgeon, who is unfortunately no longer with us.
I think I actually picked up said annual over a sale in Bromley for about 50p. Same year.
50 pence, that's a bargain.
Yeah, that actually got sold to a guy in South America, that did, but it got lost on the way over. He insisted on surface mail for some strange reason.
Yeah, that seems quite strange when I doubt airmail was any more expensive. Anyway, back to the game. So this is basically a 5-level platform game, am I right?
Yeah, it's pretty much 5 mini games if you want to get down to it.
Well, okay, well, we should get the game loading, and well, you can tell us all about it because I really don't know much about it. So it's a multi-load then.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it a cut above the rest, to be honest. I mean, it's very late in the 64's life. I mean, by 1992, most people would have already moved on to the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo. But yeah, it's being loosely based on the cartoon of the same name, which was given a completely different name originally in the States, Midnight Patrol Adventures in the Dream Zone, rather than Bo's title.
Yeah, just a bit of a mouthful.
But yeah, basically you get to play the 5 main characters in the show, starting with Rosie, the proper little madam of the show, what I've always considered just a young version of Wilma Flintstone, which sometimes looks like. Yeah, the first, basically the story behind the game is the Grandozer can't get to sleep, and the Grandozer, if you've ever watched a cartoon, if he doesn't stay asleep, predominantly the Dream Zone will cease to exist. So the 5 children, well, 4 children and a dog, Potsworth, they essentially have to find some items to put him back to sleep. Now Rosie's been charged with finding bits and pieces of I suppose you call it a boom box, ghetto blaster, whatever. So she's got to look around the Greystone Giant's cave and find the various pieces of it. I think there's 6 pieces in total: 2 batteries, 2 speakers, the unit itself, and I can't remember what the last piece is. But essentially, everything in this game drains your energy, and the sprite collision detection can be a bit touchy at times. It's not quite as bad as the ST version.
Am I right in thinking that this is also one of those games where there's some things you can shoot, and then you'll see the same sprite 2 seconds later and you can't shoot it?
Yeah, I mean, Rosie's one of the few characters in the game that can actually attack things. I mean, she's got a big mouth on her, she's a little madam, so she shouts at things and kills them. But yeah, it's true, some of the enemies you will be able to kill, and then suddenly you'll come across one that you can't kill, so you found the first part.
Alright.
You can actually pick up power-ups as well, which make a shout louder, but they don't last very long, and they almost seem rather redundant. Your energy you cannot replenish. If you lose it or you lose a life, you can see there's a 3 next to a rather angry-looking face.
So is that 3 in the one you're using, or you just get 3 lives?
I think you just get 3 lives, right. But you do get extras. You get 1 every 20,000, if I remember right. Your energy, I mean, it doesn't drain quickly, but it drains constantly all the time you're in contact with an enemy sprite. So the enemy sprite will not die when you touch it.
Right.
It will drain your energy continuously, much like Turret can say, for example.
Yep.
You can push objects on those top of those switches, which will open doors. So that enemy can't kill it. Which you went straight for her.
Yeah.
Now, Rosie's one of the only characters that can crawl as well for some strange reason. All the other characters can't. I mean, maybe their legs don't work or something. But she can crawl, which allows her to get into places. See that she got a megaphone there, so now she can shout louder.
Oh, before we get too far into this, I ought to say this game is sound effects only. There's no music,
Yeah,
but I have put the Sid tune underneath, so it's a bit more interesting than just me and SasaMisa waffling on.
Yeah, the sound is rather... I mean, the guys that actually produced the game were... Well, I'd say they were kind of sorry about that they didn't have more time to actually put some music in the game. But the tune by Sonic Graffiti on the title page is pretty good. It's not nothing to do with a cartoon, but to be honest, I still think it's a pretty good show.
Yeah, it had a bit of atmosphere while we're talking about it, so...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, everyone else will be able to hear that now underneath the gameplay, but
yeah,
we'll just carry on as we are.
I mean, it's certainly better than the ST. The ST version's rather odd because, again, the title tune was a sample piece, but again, nothing to do with the actual cartoon. I would have expected them to just sample the title music, but they didn't.
Would have made more sense, wouldn't it?
The spikes, you just have to dodge. You can't destroy them. That aeroplane, I could have shot down, but I didn't. But the switches, which you knock the boxes on top of, they activate all the various conveyor belts and stuff. I mean, it's the same every game, so once you've worked out what does what, you know, you probably won't lose as many lives. It's another memory game, basically.
Yeah, well, a lot of them are, aren't they?
The 64 version, the controls are quite tight though. You've got a lot of control over Rosie when she jumps. You can guide her in mid-air, you can crawl. It's not like the controls slide around all over the place. Now the ST version is a different matter entirely. We'll put up a screenshot for the ST version.
Yeah.
But they're what I'll do a playthrough of it on my channel at a later date. It's really frustrating to play, even if it has got one extra level where you fight the Nightmare Prince at the end. This one doesn't have that. This one is purely just the 5 main characters. Now Rosie, I think, probably gets the second easiest level overall. It's, well, as you can see already, this is going on for quite a bit. There's a lot of junk to find, a lot of locations to go to. It's not the sort of thing you're going to do your first game. Your first game, you're probably going to lose all 3 lives, get lost, and not have a clue where. Some of the items are quite deviously hidden.
Well, that's devious. Putting a box on, you know, when you drop your box, it lands on a fucking spike.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this bit, for instance. Look, you're expected to know you can jump through that. And then you have to put that box there, dodge that robot, go around there to the other side again and down by where that gun was, which again, inexplicably, you can't shoot, even though it's the same colour as the other guns were. That is one drawback of the game, I think. See, look, this gun, you can't kill it. See, that platform's moving now, so you can get down there and get that. Looks like that shooting knowledge is like a thing she's got on her bonnet, don't it?
Yeah.
Croissant, maybe? I don't know what it is. But you can see it's 2 speakers, a battery, 2 speakers, 2 batteries, and a tape recorder of some kind.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. It's weird, isn't it?
Rosie's also the only character where you have to basically get back to the beginning. As in, once you've got all 6 items, you've now got to get back to where you came in. The other characters don't have to do that. They literally have to get to an exit, which is usually in a completely different location. Any enemies you've missed, as soon as they go off the screen, they respawn. So it's a good idea to make sure you've knocked them off.
Yeah.
But the enemies you can't kill, yeah, they're just going to reset their positions and you're going to fall straight through them and take yet more damage. I don't do too badly here.
That's level 1.
I didn't lose any lives.
A bit more loading.
Yeah, with a bit of practice, Rosie's level isn't too bad.
Yeah, apologies in advance to anyone that suffers light sensitive epilepsy, but that's raster bars and loading for you.
Yeah, that's the thing to point out as well. I'm pretty sure there wasn't a disc version of this game.
Well, that loading's not too savage.
Yeah, I mean, it was a $4.95 game as well. It wasn't a full price game, $4.95. Right, this is a second stage with Nick, Rosie's little brother. Now he's called Super Nick in the show because he's a superhero. Because the Dream Zone basically allows the children to, kind of have their wishes come true. I mean, Rosie is just a pain, so her superpower is like she annoys everybody else. But yeah, Nick basically can double jump, as you can see, so he can get a bit higher than the other characters. Everything drains your energy again, to avoid it. You can pick up these 10-ton weights and drop them on the switches, but you can't jump while you're carrying a weight. Not twice.
Right, figures.
Nick's probably got the easiest and the shortest level. It's a complete contrast to the ST version, where he had the hardest level. The aeroplanes you can kill if you throw the weights at them, but only if they're in certain locations. But it is just a matter, again, of putting the weights on the switches to activate the various platforms to allow you to get anywhere. You can go up and down the pipes. These things that you pick up, where it just says 250, they're just points. Again, because I missed that enemy, he respawned. So he went straight through me, draining more energy.
I noticed your energy bar went up to full again when you started this level.
Yeah, because you're playing a different character.
Yeah.
But the actual weights, you can throw them at the enemies. They're primarily used for the switches, as you can see. But Nick gets a pretty short level. Actually, I think it's the ST version you get a short level, but it's much more difficult. Whereas on the 64, you get a longer level. Yeah, Nick can duck, but he cannot drop. You can't destroy
I've got to say, there's more kind of background graphics than I remember from this. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, it's quite nicely drawn. They do look exactly like the characters from the show. I think Keiko probably got the short end of the stick, but we'll come to her later on. But I'd say Rosie, Nick, Carter and Potsworth, they came out looking pretty much like their cartoon counterparts.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice sprites with like a high-res overlay on him. So he does look like a cartoon character.
And the graphics are, the scribing's nice and smooth. And as I said, you've got nice control over the characters. They don't slip around like they're on banana skins. The amount of platformers I play, and you feel like you've got no control over your character.
Yeah, you can kind of tell this is a late era
don't forget
64 game because of the dithering on the bricks there.
Yeah.
That was the in thing, weren't it, in the late part of 64?
It's surprisingly colourful. Yeah, now that flower I picked up there, that's four-leaf clover, I think, for luck. It'd be tempting to say it's opium. Poppy, isn't it? But no. See, I'll chuck that weight in there and squash it. But yeah, essentially, if you accidentally forget that and you go all the way to the top, the level door's not open and you can't get out. Which means you have to go all the way back down to get it. The ST version, it was actually very easy to accidentally forget the four-leaf clover. The 64 one, it's a bit more noticeable.
It's also nice to see. My mate Lucosa, one of his pet hates. There's no time limit on the level because I know that's something that drives him absolutely crackers.
No time limit. That's actually one of the good things about it. You can take it at your own pace.
Yeah, he's good.
And you can't go up the tubes with the weight, so.
That also means not having a time limit. Back in the days when save states and save games weren't a thing, if you didn't have an action replay cartridge or something, you could find a safe spot, leave your character down, bugger off, have your dinner and come back again.
Yeah, I used to do that with Retrograde, just leave the thing on while I went up the crook log with James to play the arcade machine. Just leave Retrograde literally on, turn the monitor off and turn your television on, just leave the 64 on. Done it more than once. I think I used to do it with Elite as well. Well, yeah, we're getting quite close because we're going up the skyscraper here. I completely missed that plane there. You can't duck while you're carrying the weight either, so it does make I'm pretty sure I do get away with not losing a life here.
There's definitely some good ideas in this game. It's kind of like mixing the collect 'em up, the take items here and there, and the platform thing, and kind of making a game out of all three that's different. I mean, I've seen many games that are actually like this.
Yeah, it does. It does play very heavily on the characters as they are in the show. I mean, Nick being a superhero, Rosie not having any special abilities other than annoying people, Potsworth being the I suppose he's the voice of reason at the group. He often prevents them all from like arguing or getting into arguments with each other. And plus he was the sarcasm of the show, being the only English character.
There's certainly more to this than I remember, to be fair to it.
Yeah. What's Potsworth next?
That's the dog, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, basically the two people that created Potsworth Co. I mean, it was licensed by Hanna-Barbera, but they didn't actually produce the cartoon. It was produced by a company called the Sleepy Kids Company. I can't remember the name of the two individuals, but they basically rescued a dog from Battersea Dog's Home and called it Potsworth. And they came up with an idea for a cartoon and they sold it to Hanna-Barbera, 50-50 rights, and Hanna-Barbera made it. The thing that's funny is the cartoon was incredibly popular in both the States and in the UK. It was the second most popular thing on the BBC after Neighbours, kids' TV.
Yeah.
But for some strange reason, they never picked it up for additional seasons. Oh, Potsworth's level's so annoying. If you fall in that cream, drains your energy continuously, so you don't want to do that. And all these other objects. Potsworth's got no way to defend himself, so you can't kill anything other than by stepping on it. Of course, that's sweet. Yeah. You can't kill those moving balls, you can't do anything about the drips. You've got to find some coffee beans here.
Oh, right. Yeah, it does seem strange that if it was that successful, they didn't carry on with it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a comic strip in the Beezer and Topper and in the Dandy after that ended, which I only followed for about a year of my first year of my apprenticeship to the second year of my apprenticeship was when I was still collecting DC Thompson and Co. comics. I had the annual, as I said, and I liked the cartoon, but the cartoon I don't think it ever got more than the original showing on the BBC, which I think the first week of my apprenticeship. I think it was one of the only cartoons where I just happened to be in front of the telly and the premiere came on. Most of the time I end up watching a cartoon like 15 episodes into it and thinking, what's going on here? But this was one where I literally caught the premiere. And I thought, well, it looks like an Hanna-Barbera cartoon, but it doesn't have the same vibe to it. It was only 13 episodes long. It's never been picked up on DVD or Blu-ray or anything. It's never even been re-shown on the Cartoon Network, despite being an Hanna-Barbera show.
Yeah, it is strange. I mean, there's a lot of famous programmes, like Bagpuss, for example, that only ever had 13 episodes, but nearly everybody knows what Bagpuss is. But there's a lot of people that wouldn't recognise Potsworth Co. I mean, all right, in 1992, I mean, I was 20 by then, so I didn't really watch cartoons so much. I know you watch cartoons a lot more than I did anyway, even when we were kids, you know what I mean?
Especially when I eventually got Sky.
Yeah.
I was spoiled for choice.
Yeah, I mean, even when we were sort of kids, you were more into cartoons than that. I mean,
recorded all the Dungeons and Dragons, didn't I, and Seas of Gold. And
yeah, I seem to remember having to run home from school and record, was it Around the World with Willy Fogg for you?
Yeah, those were the days. But yeah, I mean, I think there's 9 episodes of this on YouTube. I think it's episodes 1, 2 and 3 that are just not there. There's only 9 episodes and they're quite poor quality because it's obviously someone's recorded it off the goggle box back in the day and uploading it to YouTube. Some of the episodes were very imaginative though. They were not your typical Hanna-Barbera fare. I mean, this was not Huckleberry Hound or even the Flintstones or Scooby-Doo. It was some really interesting concepts. And surprisingly diverse. You had 2 American kids, an African American kid and an Asian American kid. mixture of boys and girls,
And
and
an
you had an English dog. Yeah. I mean, and Christ, even the Nightmare Prince, I can't remember the name. It's not Jim Cummings, it's another act, quite a famous voice actor who played the Nightmare Prince. But it did have some really interesting ideas. You know, the Nightmare and the Wishing Well were probably my favourite episodes. The Nightmare was the episode where they the mirror clones whoever looks into it, but it creates an opposite personality. So you quickly end up with 5 evil children and a dog that they've got to deal with. And the Wishing Well was basically, the danger of wishing for what, making wishes, and the fact that things can end up not being quite what you thought they were going to be.
Yeah, so a lesson on consequences, basically.
Yeah. First of all, they think, Rosie wishes that she could shop till she drops, but eventually it suddenly becomes hell.
Yeah, because then I don't remember seeing that, but I'd imagine she was then forced to shop.
Until literally.
So that's the first life you've lost, yeah.
Potsworth's level's quite challenging because the damn drips on those lollies, and some of the enemies you can't step on them, so you just have to take the damage. But yeah, the ST version, I think you had to get 18 coffee beans. 18? Yeah, I don't understand why. His level was by far the hardest. It was ridiculously difficult. I can do the ST version on 1 credit, the same as the 64, but it'll take me about a weekend of practice. This one I can generally do it with a few games of practice. Keiko gets the worst level in this. You'll see why when we get to it. Potsworth, he's kind of middling. He also walks on he does in the cartoon actually, he walks on 2 legs. He's always constantly complaining as well. About how Carter treats him. Carter being his master. Who's the next level? Carter's pretty much Penny Crown. Everything he draws comes to life.
Oh, right.
And Keiko, she's got a flying magic skateboard.
Yeah, I was trying. I don't know if I remember Penny Crown. I always have a program.
So Pollard, how can you forget Penny Crown?
Because when it comes to drawing things that comes to life, I always remember the really old kids program, Simon in the Land of the Chalk Drawings. Yeah. So
you've got to get to that coffee cup there. But it will not let you in until you've got all 6. I think they're probably cocoa beans, aren't they, rather than coffee? Coffee would keep you awake.
I don't know, yeah, I suppose so.
They're probably cocoa beans.
They do look like coffee beans, though.
They do, don't they? But yeah, that's Potsworth's level. Yeah, so far you've got like a boom box, a 4-leaf clover, and some cocoa beans. On a Carter's level, you've got to find a picture, or 6 pieces of picture.
The Rainbow Zone.
Now he's got the ability to create platforms that you can stand on. Makes me think of Rainbow Islands, this.
Yeah, great. You know what I think of Rainbow Islands.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it myself, but unlike Rainbow Islands, you have better control over the platforms you're putting down. You can use them to flick switches, see it. You can only put 2 down at once, but by doing that, you can essentially get anywhere. You've got quite a lot of control over it. The ST, you can put 3 down at once. The best thing to do, first of all, is go down, because that way, if you go up first, you can't basically, because you see these force fields.
Yeah.
You've got to turn them off in sequence.
Right.
And if you try to go up, you can't get past the force fields. So the first thing to do is go down and flick the switches. You can jump up those. You can't kill the flying saucers. He can duck again, but he can't crawl. You can't kill the frogs.
Yeah, you said it's only Rosie that can crawl, didn't you?
Yeah. His Carter's got a very big sprite as well, so yeah, he tends to get hit a bit. I can sometimes do his level without dying, but I think I do lose a life here. His level's not too bad, as long as you keep an eye out for all these enemies you can't kill. I'm not having much luck here, am I?
See, graphically, this game for an 8-bit game is really nice.
Yeah. Even the Spectrum and Amstrad versions weren't bad. The Spectrum version, as you'd expect, the sprites were nice and high res, if monochrome. whereas the Amstrad version, nice and colourful, low-res sprites. Both games, I'd say all three versions had their advantages and disadvantages. I wouldn't say any of them were terrible. They all have the same basic premise. The ST version had the best graphics. But I would say overall, the 64 probably had the best sound. And probably the most control over the character. Very, very smooth scrolling.
Gameplay is important. Well, the Commodore 64
Yeah.
is, it's famous for its scrolling ability.
That's it. You've definitely got most control over your character here. None of that banana skin crap. You're getting so many platformers.
No, that's one thing that really, really winds me up with platformers.
Yeah, you can't walk through those if you attempt to. It will bump against it and it will drain your health incredibly quickly.
When I was looking at Sam's Journey, that new 64 game, there's levels on that where you slide about, but I think it's one of the costumes you get. I can't remember if it's the ninja one or the Elvis type one. There's one of the costumes you get that stops you from sliding about, so that kind of makes up for it.
Thank Christ you don't get any ice in this game. Oh, I hate that. I know Luke Koza's not a fan of that, is he? Ice.
Yeah, especially if it's mixed with fire.
Yeah. Not sure what you'd think of this one, because it's kind of 5 mini-games, really. I mean, each character's got their unique abilities, and the levels are all vastly different.
From what I know of Mr. Luke Koza, I'm pretty sure he would not be a fan. He's not a fan of platform games, but I'm not going to speak for him, but my gut feeling would be he probably wouldn't like it.
I must admit, I'm not a massive fan of platformers. I mean, I didn't mind the Valis games, I suppose. That's probably more to do with the anime theme than, the actual... Oh,
dear.
It was instant death.
At least you kind of come back where you left off from.
Yeah, see, that easel over there is where you've got to come back to.
Right.
Once you've got your 6 pieces of the picture. I'd assume it's some soothing landscape. Carter also gets the most point value items, various brushes and rainbows. And if you can get, I'm almost 60 grand now, so that's another life.
Like that.
I don't think you can get more than about 100,000 the whole game. So you're not going to get more than, say, 5 extra lives. So they do give you a fair amount of lives. My one criticism, apart from the lack of in-game music, would be you only get 1 continue. Now that's fine for someone like me that is going to persevere and probably finish it on 1 credit. But the average person, I remember when I first bought the game, I was safe stating the hell out of it with the Action Replay Mark 6. Because I just got so sick of reloading it. You get, like, say, to Carter or Keiko's stage, you die, you get 1 continue, and then you have to start from the beginning. The ST version, you got 3 continues. So they're a bit more generous. And to be honest, the ST version, if you could get past Potsworth's stage, it weren't too bad. I think Keiko's stage was actually easier on the ST. You'll see when we get the stage on this, it is horrible. Virtually everything is an insta-death trap.
Oh, lovely. So what you got 2 more bits of picture, isn't there?
Yeah. There's lots of point values on this one. I think it's actually possible to get 2 extra lives on this level, including the 5,000 bonus you get at the end for completing the level.
Blimey.
So
that is quite a lot.
He gets a lot of points compared to the other characters.
Again, it's really interesting and well done colour design here as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I did read about it a while back, exactly. The 2 people that... I think it was 2 people involved in the programming side of things. And exactly how they did it. I mean, in-game music certainly would have sold it. I mean, multi-loader I think was definitely the way to go with the 64. And the truth is, if we'd had the disk drive like the Americans had, I think there would have been a lot more multi-loaders early on.
Yeah. I mean, you've only got, the amount of data you can compress in. I mean, you've only got to look at the American version of, say, something like Outrun that added, like, the clouds and the sky and slightly different colours and was, much better than the European version that we got.
Stuck with a blasted C2N with its baud rate of 220, mate.
Thing is though, I've got a digital tape deck on my 64, and occasionally I will load a tap file like it's a real tape for the nostalgia and the loaded music.
Yeah,
so
it's true. We used to do it all the time. Even when I had the ST, I had the 64 in the drawer when I was like in digs. Literally, you put one man in his droid or Invader load or something on while you're playing Dungeon Master on the ST, just for the hell of it. You're literally using the 64 as a Nickelodeon and a little jukebox. Yeah, there's another piece.
Yeah, he was making that look quite difficult, that bit there.
Yeah, so it's curious the way some enemies you're allowed to tread on and other enemies you're not allowed to tread on. It's like the aeroplanes. Some of them you can kill, some of them you can't. I mean, maybe they could have made them a different colour.
Yeah, that's where the memory game aspect comes in again, isn't it?
So you could tread on that one, but you can't tread on that one.
And
Even
yeah,
though
they
it's
look
exactly the
yeah.
same plane. Well, they say you've got all 6 pieces. Now, obviously, they're at the top. It's dead easy to get back down the bottom.
So now you've got to go down to the easel.
Yeah. And that will basically end this level, and then we'll be on to Christ Keiko's level, which I can't stand. This caused me so much grief back in the day, which is why I resorted to the save states. Her level is probably harder than all the other 4 added together.
Bloody hell.
Simply because of all the insta-death traps.
I mean, Potsworth's level looked bad enough.
Yeah, you just got to keep off that cream. You fall in the cream, and it's pretty much like the cream in Castle Illusion, Mickey Mouse. It's just instant death. But yeah, you just fall down here. You might scrape a few enemies, but pretty much that.
Yeah, right.
Right, now we're on to the last stage. Oh, Christ.
That good, eh? So they decided to make the last stage worthy with its difficulty level then.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, this is set in a fairground, essentially. And, well, the first thing is like, unlike the cartoon, Keiko cannot fly on a skateboard all the time, because if she could, well, that'd make the game rather easy, wouldn't it? The first thing I think I have to comment on here is like, why is it Keiko's got a red dress and she's yellow? When clearly she's pink in the picture at the bottom and she wears a blue top in the show. It was like, I mean, I've often joked that like this is like some imposter Keiko, this is, as in China Keiko, because they clearly didn't understand the difference between China and Japan. I'm not sure if that really is the reason. But you can see straight away that Keiko can't use a skateboard all the time, only when she hits those stars, and that's what that bar below your energy bar is.
Gotcha.
You can only... Well, otherwise you're peddling it, basically. But yeah, all of this, all insta-death traps. If you fall on the electricity, you fall on those spikes, all insta-death. And what you got to do is collect arrows. I actually did get someone to commission me a joke image, actually, which actually it was a fairground scene, and it had both girls on their skateboards, and it had a China Keiko in a red Chappelle or a China dress, stealing all the arrows off of the real Keiko.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I'm not sure if they just didn't know, or maybe they couldn't use blue.
Well, I mean,
That might be the reason they couldn't give her a blue dress.
it's possible, but I mean, yeah, making her look Chinese when she should be Japanese is something that these days would probably be frowned upon.
It's
but
true. I mean, Keiko is clearly a Japanese name.
But yeah, like
if it were mailing, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like you
Look at
say,
that insta death, because I
hell.
only touched it for a brief second. But yeah, if you touch any of the electricity or the spikes, even if you jump off it instantly, your energy's just gone. Insta death. You can go through some what? So it's like charges that bar up. You've got about 3 or 4 seconds, just long enough to get up there. And I mean, it's a clever mechanic.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a clever mechanic, but if it were like the cartoon, yeah, I suppose. I mean, I think that's some kind of... Oh, that one actually... Oh, it's still my energy, look! Yeah. Yeah, it's horrible, this level.
It's also knowing which bits of wall you can go through and which bits you can't go through.
The ST version's even worse, because although the level itself is fairly easy, you're not sure where you're going. Keiko did actually look a bit better on the ST version as well. She did actually have a blue top, not red. I think it's a case of probably that they couldn't use blue.
Yeah, I mean, it could be system limitations. I can't remember how the sprite setup works on the 64 now, but I know it's only something like 4 colours in a set space or whatever, so it could well be that.
Well, I've already nearly lost another life.
Bloody hell, you haven't, haven't you? And there it goes.
2 lives already. I mean, I have done it. I have done the whole game on a single life before, but it will take you a bit of practice. And it is this level that kind of... It's funny, I've got just 80,000 points there as well, so that's another life. Another extra. I've done it on 1 life before, but not on this particular run. I wasn't going to keep this run originally, but I thought, well, whatever, I've put runs up before where I've completed it, but it's been really, really bad. Just showing up, I put up a run of like Hero Tonma, and I literally on the last level, I must have lost about 5 lives. I thought, oh, screw it, this is how not to play it.
I don't know, Legend of Hero Tonma is not an easy game. I think if we ever do a passion for gaming arcade games, I think that's one that if I do another episode with you of arcade games, you're the only person I've seen complete that, so that might be an interesting.
I did own the arcade board. Our one was a bootleg though, so it had quite bad sound. But yeah, I finished the arcade. Someone actually showed me how to play there when I was down Woolwich. I used to go down an arcade there, and there was I'd say it was probably Vietnamese actually. But yeah, I remember he showed me how to play a whole bunch of games: East SWAT, Final Fight, Turtles, and Tonma. But yeah, I actually owned the arcade board, so that's kind of cheating, isn't it? I mean, I had plenty of time to play like Altered Beast or Duoki. It's no good me saying, yeah, I've got 600,000 on it, which is very difficult to get. I owned the damn balls, when you've paid like over £100 for a PCB, you're going to play it. You're going to play it a lot. I doubt I could play it as well now, not without a lot of practice. But yeah, you think, like, hold on, I've got the 5 arrows, I've got the scroll. I think that's some kind of a charm that you read to the Grand Dozer.
So now you've got like a maze to get through to get out.
Yeah, and all these damn monsters you can't kill.
Yeah, because you're pretty low on energy there, aren't you?
I'm going to lose another life. Yeah, this level, it really does, it soaks up lives. I mean, it can be done on a single life, but...
Yeah, I do like the mechanic with the star. You got to find the star.
Yeah, I mean, in the cartoon, Keiko is basically the leader. She's a bit cocksure of herself a lot of the time, but she's not as insufferable as Rosie. She's a lot more likeable. I only found out today, funny enough, that Guy in Captain Planet, it's the same voice actress. I never knew that.
Oh, right.
I mean, she is Japanese, but I'd assume by her name, because she hasn't got a Japanese name, she's got an American name. So I'd assume she's probably a second generation Japanese, because it does say her parents are Japanese. So I'd assume from probably World War II. Yeah, when they were interned, she's probably a daughter of them.
Yeah, more than likely.
But yeah, I didn't actually realise that, same voice actress. But then when I actually pictured Guy's voice in my mind and Keiko's voice, and I thought, yeah, it is the same voice actress, isn't it? She's just got a deeper voice in Captain Planet. She has done a lot of stuff since, actually. She's done things like...
Bloody hell.
I think she's done... Yeah, I did really bad, yeah. I started losing lives all over the flipping
You're
place.
doing the last one now, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's done recently. I think she did the Ninja Gaiden games.
All right.
Yeah, she does some of the voices in the Ninja Gaiden games. She does a lot of Asian characters.
So that's the game complete then?
She never actually speaks Japanese in the show itself, though, so make of that what you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's essentially the game. I mean, the ST version, you have to actually fight the Nightmare Prince using Potsworth. You kind of throw bones in, so you get one extra level, but the 8-bit versions you've done.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate to everybody, the music that's been playing while you've been watching that gameplay is the theme music from the game, but I've added it afterwards so it wasn't quite so quiet, so the actual game is just sound effects.
That's fair enough, isn't it? Yeah, it's a nice little tune.
Yeah, you say that about losing loads of lives on the last level, yeah, but you still completed it. I mean, you still done really well, yeah. But
I think I was lucky there. I mean, I was on the spikes while I was flashing. If I'd been there a second longer, it would have took another life. Yeah, Keiko's level. I mean, as I said, I wasn't going to keep that playthrough, but I thought, I mean, perfect playthroughs are no fun.
This is true. This is, offers some talking points and that.
No doubt about that.
Oh, well, that kind of wraps up another episode then. Well, thanks for coming on the channel again and talking us through a game. It's not a game that I'm pretty rubbish at games when anyone looks at this. I can play some arcade games, but I have to practice them a lot. So seeing something like this is not something I'd necessarily be able to do myself, so it's much appreciated.
Yeah, not a problem. I should probably add as well that sadly I haven't actually got the original game anymore. It was only a neat little box it was, but you actually got like an A3 poster and a booklet. I remember actually scanning some of the pictures from the booklet with like a scanner on the Amiga. Those crappy little hand scanners, isn't it? Where you have to move them at about 2 miles an hour, or you end up with a picture that's all distorted. I'm pretty sure I've still got those scans somewhere.
Yeah, actually, before we do go, didn't you, when it had issues with the ST copy of this game?
Yeah, when I actually bought the game, I couldn't get the damn thing to load. I'm not sure if it was TOS problems. You always get those. But yeah, I think several times I tried to load it. It'd come up the title page, fine, start playing the sample music, and then when you tried to start the game, up would come the picture. You get a kind of loading picture, and it shows like a big picture of Rosie next to the cave, and it would just literally just stop.
Yeah, that's no good, is it?
I think on one occasion, I don't know how I did it. I must have just put the disc in and out of the drive in frustration, and it loaded up the cave. You saw Rosie standing there, and nothing. It was just frozen. And I just took the game back to the shop, and that was it. I didn't think about the game for years, and then like James told me about Steam, not Steam as in like the PC.
Steam as in the emulator.
Yeah, Steam as in like the ST emulator, and I just thought Potsworth Co. I thought of the ST, and I tried loading it up, and it worked fine in the emulator, and yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I will say the graphics of the characters are really nice on the loading screens. The sample music's nice, but if you want to play a version of this game, stick with the 8-bits. Because the ST version will have you tearing your hair out, unless you use the trainer.
Oh, well, on that bombshell, we'll call it a day. So thanks for coming in and talking us through that again. And I will see you in the next video. We'll probably be doing a few more of these. So until then, laters.
Yeah, indeed, laters.